Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week I take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and we try to sort out an ingredient to the race we might look back on later as having been the path to finding the winner. Well, New Year's Day racing on Saturday this week, and all the best for the new year. We're going to commence our look at Saturday's racing with race 10 and our winning factor, the map. Well, as I said, we've turned the corner into the new year on Saturday, and there's going to be an increasing focus now on the 4-year-old series with the Classic Mile at the end of January and heading on towards the Derby in March. And in this race we see 3 serious contenders for those races in Fantastic Treasure from the David Hayes yard, Blaze Warrior from the John Size team, and Packing Victory from Danny Shum's string. And I think for this race you can throw in a spoiler amongst the older horses. It's probably Good Luck Friend, who made a return to his better form last start. But by and large, this race is about those 3 4-year-olds heading towards the Classic Mile. And the one thing that all these horses have in common is that they were all beaten last start at very short odds. So let's take a look at what's been happening. And first of all, we're going to take a look back to International Day, and most punters in the last race that day were looking to Packing Victory to send them home a winner in the last race. And in blue and white hoops, red cap, he certainly tried his best from a wide draw here, pushing forward to be outside the lead, but he was unable to get much of a soft run. 3 wide, no cover with the top weight of 133 pounds, and note the fast lead section from the 800 metres to the 400 metres to really make him work. Now they turned for home, the leader skipped away, and Packing Victory, well, he had to dig deep at that stage to go after Super Winner and eventually get past him, but all the effort told, and in the last 50 metres he tired and just got bombed on the line. Now that was no good if you had him on your betting ticket, but in terms of his performance, it was as good as a win. Perhaps backers of Blaze Warrior weren't quite as convinced about the worth of his performance when he was beaten at odds on a couple of weeks ago. So let's take a look at that. This is race 268. He's in pale green colours, Blaze Warrior, from a wide draw. And I want you to note early in the race, Joe Moreira, he's on the odds-on favourite here. He doesn't want to give away too much start as a result. And he gives the horse a bit of a dig up in the early stages to take up a position. Now, that's in contrast to how Blaze Warrior has generally been ridden, just finding his own feet and then working into the race in the second half. And you see him here, he fires up a bit. And Blaze Warrior, he never really looks happy in the run. He's 3 wide, mostly with cover, but getting pushed wider on the home turn. Then he issues a challenge in the stretch, and his backers are probably okay at the 200 metres, but he doesn't finish it off, finishing only 8th. Now this time Blaze Warrior has an inside draw, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Moreira return to more conservative tactics. He certainly won't be an odds-on favourite this time, and let the horse just do his own thing early rather than feeling that pressure to get him closer and upset his rhythm like that. And the third part of our triumvirate is Fantastic Treasure. Now, his last start defeat at short odds was due to an internal vet problem, so it's not going to help you much to show you that. But I thought we'd have a look at his barrier trial 2 weeks ago, where he passed with flying colours and certainly set everyone to rest that all was well with the horse. And this is a trial at Happy Valley, and the whole point of this trial really is to have a look at his well-being rather than win the trial. And in blue and yellow, he's steadied early by Blake Shin, settles a conspicuous last. Winning in this trial is never really in his thoughts. Approaching the turn, he tacks onto the back of the field. Shin shakes him up briefly at the top of the stretch just to get him running, get the juices flowing, and then just lets him coast over the final 150 metres. So I think that's a tick for Fantastic Treasure, and he comes back to racing without obviously a recent race, unlike his main rivals, but certainly in good form. But I think clearly the separator for these 3 horses is the map. So let's take a look at that. None of them that we've discussed has a difficult draw, but they are going to be in different parts of the race. I think there'll be 3 horses pushing forward early here: Good Luck Friend, Hinch and Love and Packing Victory. But the beauty of Packing Victory is that he can either lead or take a sit behind those other 2, while his main opponents have established patterns of racing where they do get back and run home in the second half of the race. So the tip in race 10, Packing Victory, his winning factor, the map. These are all very talented 4-year-olds. They can all win the race, but I think the fact that he's able to take a forward position with the lighter weight means they're going to have to give him a start and run him down. The other race I want to take a look at is the final race, race 11, and our winning factor here is Up in Class. The day finishes with a Class 3 over 1,400 metres, and I'm sure there will be fans here for Cobfield, a horse with Derby intent. The likely leader in the race, Mighty Valor, Usain Bolt, who ran without luck last week, Navis 2, who we earlier saw just knock over Packing Victory on International Day, and right down in the weights, because they're rising in grade, the 2 runners' last start performances in Class 4, Oscar Glory and Zone D. And it's on those 2 lighter weighted runners coming up in grade that I want to focus. Both of them also coming back from a mile to 1,400 metres. And Oscar Glory here in white, red and blue 2 weeks ago, and he gets the lead without too much trouble early in a very comfortable first section. But have a look at the heat map, and another runner comes up at the 900 metres to put pressure on him. And they do carve out a little bit faster than average section there. Harry Bentley gets him to come back after that sharper second section, but with top weight, maybe the damage has already been done. In the straight, Oscar Glory kicks, and he certainly tries gamely. He still looks the winner all the way to the final 50 metres, but that earlier pressure tells in the final stages and he gets run over. Now, we have seen Oscar Glory, for all his consistency this season, at times be his own worst enemy in the lead at a mile, pulling a little bit against his riders. That wasn't the case on that occasion. It wasn't really of his making the problem there, and he gets a pass mark coming up in grade and back to 1,400 metres, but he should still be up on the speed, and that could be important when we get to the map a little bit later on. But now we're going to take a look at the horse I think is his major opposition. And this is going back to December 8, and Zone D is in white with blue sleeves here from gate 11. This is 1,650 metres around Happy Valley, and he goes back and takes his usual position back in the field for Zach Purton. And that's where he stays as Blake Shin on the leader Fearless Fire is dealing out the sectionals up front. And note the very sharp pickup by the leader from the 800 metres to the 400 metres. Now that effectively put the race out of the reach of back markers like Zone D, and Fearless Fire goes on to score. But watch how Zone D hits the line here for second, really hurtling to the line from that rearward position and putting up one of the top 5 finishing sprints at Happy Valley this season over 1,650 metres, and certainly the best we've seen in Class 4. Now he also drops back in distance, but he comes to a bigger track. So let's take a look at the map. And in some circumstances that drop in distance might not be ideal after we saw that big finish. It still looms as his vulnerability in this race, since the other horse rising in class, Oscar Glory, will be up on the pace, and this time probably not leading but with a leader to trail rather than having the target on himself. We have the very quick Mighty Valor in the race. So the map really suits Oscar Glory, but Mighty Valor also suits Zone D, as he tends to set a good tempo in the lead even when out on his own. And that should give Zone D the chance to run those big sectionals again. So the tip in race 11, Zone D, his winning factor, Up in Class. Now that factor could apply to either of the bottom weights here. I think that the weights and the rising class give these horses an edge over the other runners, but we've seen Zone D reel off a very strong sectional there. I think he's come back a much better animal this season, and he'll get the chance to show it on Saturday. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor for this week and for 2021. Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.